Thanks so much for joining me. Before we get started, please take a second to click subscribe to my channel to keep up with all of my latest investing and personal finance content. And please check out the link you see on your screen for a message from our sponsor, The Motley Fool, where you can get the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So, one of my largest investments is Disney. People who know me know that I'm a Disney fan. Just in life, I go to Disney World a lot with my kids. I'm a 6 hour drive away, so we go a lot. I'm a big fan of the brand and the intellectual property and the streaming platform and things like that. So it's been one of my largest investments for a while. I just added more to it. Reason is I think this is a very nice opportunity for patient investors. This is a company in transition. Bob Iger just returned as CEO for his second tenure. His first tenure, they handily beat the stock market. He was responsible for a lot of if you can call them the best decisions that have been made in the company. The acquisition of Lucasfilm was an Iger product. The acquisition of Marvel happened under Iger's watch. There were a lot of great moves that were made. He immediately implemented a cutting and restructuring plan, almost immediately. Plans to bring back the dividend, which was suspended before COVID and never, or when COVID started, it never got put back. And the pandemic really just showed how resilient this business is. The theme parks are making more than ever. The parks division is revenue was up 21% year over year in the last quarter. I've been there a few times recently. They're not struggling. If there is a recession, it is not happening in Central Florida apparently. And the streaming platform, I think they have a big competitive advantage that the market is really overlooking in terms of already having pre-existing intellectual property over some of the other streaming platforms that have to build all of their own content. They said they're going to rely a little bit more on what they already have rather than just kind of plunging billions and billions of dollars into content creation. If they can make Disney Plus profitable and continue their success in their physical parts of their business, I think this could be a really big win for long-term investors. But this isn't one I bought because I think it's going to double overnight. I own Disney because I think it's going to gradually outperform the market until my kids are my age. Tyler, what do you buy?
So I'll start with one that I've owned for probably the longest out of all of these, and that's Cleveland Cliffs. This is what used to be an iron ore producer is now an integrated steel maker that sources all of its own raw material, which puts them in a very, very unique position in the United States, because they are the only one that is that supplies all of its own raw material. If you look at somebody like Nucor or United States Steel or any of the other steel producers, they're acquiring the raw material from elsewhere, whether that be, in Nucor's case, scrap steel or refined what's called pig iron from Ukraine and Russia were some of their biggest suppliers. That's not working out great right now. So Cleveland Cliffs is interesting to me because for the most part, a lot of my thesis has been behind their current CEO, Lourenco Goncalves. He came in about 2015 and took a company that was on the brink of bankruptcy and dragged it into one of the most profitable steelmakers in the United States today. Very, very opportune moments of refinancing debt, using some opportune times to issue some shares, basically to drag this thing out into solvency. Sold off a bunch of I wouldn't say tangential, but unprofitable kind of empire building businesses internationally, focused exclusively on its U.S. iron ore operations. And then when a couple steel makers were distressed, namely AK Steel and the North American operations of ArcelorMittal, pounced on those and became an integrated steel manufacturer. Now today is pouncing on scrap steel recyclers and basically building this whole ecosystem of steelmaking. So what is interesting to me to them is that with that cost advantage, I think that they're going to be one of the more profitable companies in this business. Yeah, sure, they're obviously going to be susceptible to the market cycles because that's just how steelmaking is. But in terms of leverage, in terms of debt, it's in a much, much better position than it's ever been. Management has been very prudent about managing its finances, bringing down debt, bringing down pension obligations, and increasing book equity in this company. And right now, it's selling for a song. It's current PE ratio is in the single digits. I want to say it's right around 5 right now. And so with and yeah, maybe even if we have a decline in earnings, it's going to not look as good. But at such a low multiple, I think it's a pretty safe time to add money to this position.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by the Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.